How are you this week, princesses?
I'm tired.
Jinx! And I think my heel is bruised.
Pretty good.
Okay, well, I was going to say I'm tired, but I guess that's...
Erin's the only one who's doing fine.
I'd definitely be less tired if the Resi 7 debacle hadn't just happened.
We are not talking about that yet.
It's not just the debacle, it's just the Resi 7 part 2.
Oh, this is just kind of a throwback to an old episode we had once. I was thinking again about video game names this week, and I remembered that when we were initially talking about names from video games that we would give our children, we really only talked about, like, character names. I gotta say, if I named my daughter Resi,
Stop.
that'd be a cute name.
Stop.
And, like, it'd also be a fun low-key reference.
You know what would be
You
great,
should not
though?
be allowed to have children.
No, the greatest thing ever would be if your daughter, Resi, had a daughter and named her Resi the second.
Aww.
And then it'd be Resi 2, and then her daughter had a daughter and
All the
named her
way up to
Resi, and you just kept doing
Resi
it, and then you do Resi 7, Resi 2, Resi 3, Resi 4.
And all they have to do is that Resi 6 would have to tell Resi 7 that everyone loves you except for your great Aunt Lainey because she has a vendetta against Resi 7 now.
And everybody hates Resi 5.
And then you named the last
song.
Then you named the last daughter Evil.
Yeah! Resi Evil.
That's
so
cute.
cute.
Of course, this is after many years.
This is a generational
Yes.
thing. You have like make a pact
Anyways.
with your future progeny.
It's possibly a family curse.
The various bad names that I give my children aside. Let's go ahead and... Oh, yeah, that's right.
Bear and Bayonetta are freaking out when they get their little sister Resi.
So embarrassing moments, we're actually kind of light on those for this time for whatever reason.
Just a lot of little
I mean,
ones.
Lainey has like a whole list of little ones that she was naming off to me at work today.
Like Erin and Lainey tried to high five a few minutes ago, and that was a disaster. Ended up just sort of waving while being weirdly close to each other's bodies. Like, it's not a full embarrassing moment. It was just kind of, like, everybody watching was embarrassed.
It was just kind of pathetic.
Just for a second.
It was captured on
It
film.
was captured on film.
So we're gonna try to,
It
like...
was.
Yeah.
We should put that on Instagram. Just that section.
Just that part.
Just when you tried to high five.
Don't worry, Lainey. We'll get to the rest of it. I just wanted to say, though, we are thinking, in the spirit of trying to engineer some embarrassing moments,
Oh no.
until the next episode... We're all giving ourselves an assignment, and like it doesn't matter where this idea
We're
came
calling
from.
it Project Footloose.
Okay, so here's the deal. I have not seen the movie Footloose. Jensen,
Neither have I.
Okay, Erin, you haven't seen it? So
I have.
Lainey has.
I saw the musical, like a stage production of it.
Oh, okay.
That
And
don't
I've
count.
seen many
That
parodies.
don't count. It doesn't have the Lehigh Roller Mill scene in it.
Okay.
It does. It's just
If it's not in the Lehigh Roller Mill.
it's scaled down because it's on a stage.
That movie is
No.
significant to many people in our lives because it was filmed nearby.
I didn't know that.
We don't
didn't know
care.
that.
Like,
It's in the Lehigh
Roller
It's
Mills.
in the Lehigh
Oh.
Roller Mills. I went to
We
school
drive
right
past
near
there all the time. Like, we were just over there. Did you not get... Okay, well...
I went, my
I didn't realize
middle
when you were
school
saying Lehigh
was
Roller
right
Mills, you
next
meant,
to the
like,
Lehigh
roller
Roller
mill.
Mills.
place.
Yeah.
I didn't actually recognize the name Lehigh. I thought you were just saying gibberish and then Mills.
It is taking so much nonsense to get to the point.
Okay.
Anyway, so the scene that was famously filmed in our very own Lehigh Roller Mills, where Kevin Bacon just dances out his feelings. This has inspired us. So sometime before the next episode, we all have the assignment to put on some music and to just Lehigh Roller Mills our feelings out.
Jensen and I are gonna lose our jobs because of this. I'm so sure.
We could go to the back of the warehouse and just
like
dance it out.
like the part past the doors where like only the people
where only the
forklift.
forklift people go. I've actually had a lot of embarrassing moment with the forklift operators because they'll like come up by me and they're like honking and I don't know where they're going because they don't say anything.
don't
They
say
just
anything.
honk constantly.
They just want you to know that they're
And
there.
I had one was very similar to the scene from Austin Powers when he's going and the guy's like, the security guard's standing there just screaming. And he's super far away and it's really slow. It was similar to that where there was a forklift way, way down a row and it was coming at me. And I was like, what do I do? And I had like a big pallet of stuff and I was like, where do I go? And I was panicking, just standing there watching it. And then I finally just like ran away with the pallet and went around the corner. And then I looked back and it turned and was gone. And I was just like, it wasn't even anywhere near me.
The thing about work stories is that they are especially entertaining to the people who work there. To everybody else, it's just foreign.
No, did we tell you about the tape slowly rotating on a thing? Just over. It was hilarious. I don't know why.
But I got video
and
of
the
it.
sleeve sticking out of a locker today.
Whatever. We'll see if we keep the work story in the final edit of this episode.
The sleeve was hilarious.
I took a picture of that sleeve. It was so funny.
And I took video of the tape.
Yes.
Erin, please tell us.
No,
about
guys, wait.
Evermore.
The other thing is that the tape has replacement part written over it. We
But
found
someone
put
crossed
a sticker so that it
Yeah.
says replacement part.
It's the greatest tape ever. It says replacement farts.
We've taken the calling. We've given the tape a pronoun. We call him he.
Yeah.
Like we're like he just knows what he's doing.
We look over there and he's just rotating on the thing.
The basis form of comedy.
It's great.
I freaking love that tape so much.
Okay, thank you for that second amazing story about your job
I feel like I'm gonna
on this podcast about video games.
I'm sorry. Okay, Evermore.
Evermore is a magical, wonderful place. You walk in, it's basically like walking into an RPG, like walking into Skyrim. Like they're like the buildings and they make it feel like you're in a town. So it's like secluded from the busy streets, and yeah, you just feel like you've entered another world, which is what they're going for. And they have actors working there in awesome costume and oftentimes awesome makeup jobs, like like they look like monsters, and they've got animatronics in some cases and just really cool. But basically they have a loose story that like there's a portal that opens to our world, and opening it caused some problems, and most recently like a sickness to go throughout the town, make them kind of like zombies. But you can join different factions and go around and ask people like how you can help, and they'll give you quests. And usually it'll be like a fetch quest or people you can talk to. I don't know. Am I getting
And
the
no,
spirit
like,
of
If
it?
you haven't put two and two together, it's an amusement park for nerds.
It's like a big LARP fest.
Yeah.
It's a big amusement park for LARPing.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
specifically like a live action D&D
Mhm.
Yeah.
game. And it's a lot of fun. And Erin and her husband and some of their friends, not us, have gone several times in the past.
A few times.
Yeah. And they finally took us this last weekend for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a blast.
Mhm.
It was so much fun. They have a couple of different seasonal like storylines and shows that they kind of have going throughout the year, and this being the only one we've ever done was of course the spoopy one, because it's Halloween, it's October, so they have a zombie virus is the storyline going on right now. And it was so much fun. They told us not to talk to vampires, so I really want to talk to vampires.
I never
We should
saw
talk
the
to vampires.
vampires.
I saw them. They were following us for a while.
Mhm.
Why didn't we just turn around and say, "Hey, can I join your clan?
I didn't
Make
wanna
me a
be
It's
vampire."
rude to follow people, but I'd like to follow you guys.
I didn't want to derail the quest we were on, but I did
True.
notice them.
Mhm.
And so I was like wanting to turn around and just ditch you guys a couple of times and just go hang with the vampires. They were like what we do in the Shadows style vampires.
Yeah.
Ah,
It
I
was
wish
really
I had
fun.
joined them.
Like they were being
I mean, we
quippy
had
and
fun
funny
in our
and-
quest.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't really know exactly what we were doing, and we didn't really know what like faction we were doing the quest
Yeah,
for.
we met
didn't
a
know who
ghost.
we got it
Yeah,
was.
I don't think
Yeah.
we really understood what was going on until we met the dwarves, and then we hung
That
out
was
with
the
them for a little
best.
bit. And they were awesome.
They were so
Oh my
funny.
gosh.
Yeah.
We sang songs with them.
We
and
had
told
to-
ghost
He
stories.
played
Yeah.
the guitar with
Actually-
the songs.
Yes.
Sang some Cranberries.
Yeah,
Yes.
out of part of a quest was that we needed to perform in front of a performer. So we told them these quests that we were on. They were like, well, that's what we're here for. Like, so what do you got? Perform for us. And I was immediately just like, is this the real life?
And then I shut that down.
And I was like, fine. Each morning I get up and I die a little, because, come on.
And then that one stuck
You
because
gotta-
it's an earworm and everybody started
Yeah.
singing.
And you gotta sing Queen.
It's Queen.
If you're in a Portal fantasy.
Well, I just didn't want it
You
to be
do it.
Bohemian
Yeah.
Rhapsody because I felt like it was a little bit on the... I already felt like it was really self-indulgent for me to even be there because you guys know my huge preoccupation with Portal fantasies.
Mhm.
I have written mostly Portal fantasies in my lifetime as a writer.
Basically, everyone else has Elsa. You're not special.
And I wasn't trying to say it was special. I'm talking about a pathology that I have that I know is common amongst writers. I love Portal fantasies. And in one of my books, Bohemian Rhapsody featured prominently in one particular scene until I eventually rewrote it because I didn't want to even investigate the copyright issues and I just decided to change the scene.
It's too bad,
Yeah.
though, because it was great with Bohemian Rhapsody.
I thought it was really good. But it's not in there anymore.
It
It's fine, I
It
guess.
was just funny. It was just a way for other people from our world to identify each other. Like it.
Because everyone knows Bo Rap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
no
that's
matter
the
what
joke.
country you're from, you probably know a little bit of Bo Rap.
Yeah.
And
And if not, where have you been?
yeah,
Like,
like
seriously.
there's
Well,
a couple
if you
of
don't know,
songs-
then you're 15 and you're a freaking idiot.
there's a couple
Screw
of
you.
songs where if you wander into karaoke, people will sing it and they'll know the words, even if they don't speak English, and even if you're all the way on the other side of the world.
Or they'll hum it, at least.
Bo Rap's one of them. Another one, weirdly, is Wonderwall.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
just something I've noticed when
I do
travel.
I do feel like I know all the words to that one, so I
Well,
believe
you're
it.
an English speaker, so
I know, but I mean, like,
But you learned
I
it
don't
in
have
Poland,
the-
right?
No, I don't have. Well, no, I did hear it in Poland a couple times actually, but no, I don't have the song. I don't have a copy of that song.
You just
but
know
I just
it.
know the words.
Oh, interesting.
I also heard Lindsay Sterling in Poland.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Aaron's not a
Someone
fan.
was playing it super loud
This
in
is-
the middle of the Rennig in
This is the
Wrocław.
one thing that Aaron, like, vehemently hates.
We
Yeah.
should contextualize Aaron's disgust with listening to
She's a violinist.
Erin is
So,
a
like,
violinist, so she's critical of Lindsay Sterling mostly as a violinist,
Mhm.
as I understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't go into too much detail, but her tone quality's not great. She holds her wrist wrong. Like, she holds the violin incorrectly. And just the faces she makes, I can't. No, I just can't.
Aaron cares so much about
This
this.
is the angriest I've ever seen Aaron.
It's, like, really fun.
Aaron like never comes for people.
I personally have nothing against Lindsay Sterling. I don't know a single crap about music, so, like, I don't care, but
Which is a lie. You guys know
Apparently.
about music.
You performed for performers.
I
and,
perform
yeah,
for
and
performers.
and they accepted your song.
Yeah, anybody can sing Queen, Elsa.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Since Kanye West, why
What?
did you try that?
What?
Can he sing at all?
So, like, a few years ago, he actually, quote unquote, sang Bohemian Rhapsody at a concert.
Oh.
It sounded awful.
Oof.
Like, he was not on pitch at all.
That
and
one
his-
is hard to get on.
His voice was terrible, and just, I was like, no, please go away.
Oh.
It was, yeah, it was bad. And he referred to himself as the greatest rock star in the world, and I was just like, oh,
And
Kanye.
then-
If Freddie Mercury exists, if
Wait,
you
if
are
he exists, what are you? What is this sentence you're starting?
I'm so tired. If you live in a world where Freddie Mercury existed at one point,
We do.
which
Who are you talking to?
Is this a new
which
conspiracy
we do, then you're not the best rock star of all time because Freddie Mercury existed.
The last thing I will say, something that's really fun about Evermore is if the actors aren't interacting with any of the guests, they're basically living out their script. Like, you can see stories happening all around you and different conversations. Like, they're always in character. Like, they're not just standing around like, well, no one's here. I guess I'm just gonna twiddle my thumbs. It's
Or
like,
go look
Pull
at
out my phone.
yeah.
Like, no. Like, I am in character right now.
Yeah,
I am a
like,
knight.
You're full.
I'm gonna go do knight things right
Yeah.
now because no one's talking to me. It's
like,
fine.
you are fully immersed, and it's a great experience. You should definitely go, especially during Halloween. That's we've been during summer, and that was still fun, but Halloween has definitely been the funnest so far.
Yeah, I know. I'm not entirely sure, but I am under the impression that some people do travel to come to Evermore, which is in Pleasant
yeah.
Grove,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Grove, Utah. Because when we were there, the dwarves asked us where we were from, and we were just like, Utah. we're from here. It's fine. We're not far away.
I panicked and said Nevada. So.
Nevada!
And that didn't seem surprising.
Yeah.
Canada.
Canada. Yeah, no, the dwarves were really cool. And I will say, as somebody who has like a general fascination with and a love for portal fantasies, and will probably write several more that, don't even have that much of a nuanced difference from the other ones I've already written. I kind of feel like I got a new idea from a story for this trip for Evermore. So I think that I'm going to end up writing a story about some siblings who end up in a portal fantasy. And the younger one...
Join the Dark Lord!
And the younger one keeps trying to run away to join the Dark Lord. And the older one's trying to keep a handle on that and can't, and then ends up hanging out with some dwarves.
I
As we-
know who I am.
Because that's basically what happened.
Yes, we all know who you are, Lainey. You're the one who tries to join the Dark
I'm
Lord.
Edmund.
In honor of me, can you make the middle sibling always trying to find vampires to join?
Sure.
Just like looking out for vampires constantly.
Yeah, why not?
Just like, where are the vampires?
Like,
and can
I'm
I
really
be one?
more excited about the fact that I do think that if I ever find myself in a portal fantasy, I would just hang out with the dwarves. Because they know how to party.
They're awesome.
They are
Yeah,
great.
they were so
But
much
I also
fun.
really want to be
They're
a vampire.
awesome. We sang
My vampire face never really ended.
Zombies by the Cranberries, and it was wonderful because it worked with the storyline too, because outside this tent it was just a cold night full of zombies wandering Evermore.
Mhm.
And it was
Yeah.
raining all night.
Yeah.
It was
And-
cold and
and
very
The guy who played the song for us knew every single word.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was really good. It was great.
Plus, the guy who played the song for us was Clancy in Unicorn City, so that was
It was
cool.
really good.
Yeah.
I was like, I know who you are, but I'm just
I-
gonna call you Lonnie.
They were both
Yeah.
Utah famous. Like I recognized him from Unicorn City, and then the other guy was from the
Fruit Ninja.
in
In
real
real
life
life.
video, and I used to date a friend of his, but he probably doesn't recognize me. Didn't bring it
Whoa,
up.
that's cool.
Yeah, we were chatting, and I wanted to be like, "Do you remember?" Yeah.
Do you
Do you remember? We've met.
So we're like 25 minutes.
I know. This is already a freaking
so
long ass
bad.
podcast.
Oh, we were gonna be cutting so much about work stories.
Hello, welcome to the long ass podcast.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
Here
we
where we
Possible
talk
title.
for long ass times.
So we've all been playing some spoopy games for Halloween, some very scary sort of games-ish. And I am not going to ask Erin what she plays because I know what it was. I am instead going to ask Jensen to leave so Erin can talk about it.
Where should I go?
I don't know.
Let's go into your kitchen and sit in the dark.
I mean, you can turn on the lights if you want.
I don't know where they are. Let's just sit in the dark.
Sit in the dark.
So Jensen's leaving because she doesn't want spoilers. Erin, tell us about Batman.
Wait, no, let's
Arkham
gossip
Knight.
about Jensen while she's gone.
She edits this podcast.
Jensen has a great butt.
She does, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, Arkham Knight. Major spoiler warning here, especially if you haven't, like Jensen, played Arkham City, because at the end of Arkham City, Jensen, you can't hear me, right? The Joker dies.
Yeah, we know this.
Yeah.
I don't know
okay.
how she hasn't gotten spoiled yet.
Yeah, I don't either. And something that is so great about Arkham Knight is they found a way to bring the Joker back with Mark Hamill's wonderful performance. And it's that Batman still has some of the Joker's sickness that the Joker sprung on him with his own blood. And he's slowly going crazy and slowly turning into the Joker. So he hallucinates the Joker quite a bit throughout the game, and it's brilliant, and I love it, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, in fact, the VR kind of hints that.
Oh, it
Yeah.
does?
Yeah, it does, because you at the end you have this weird hallucination and you're like trapped in the cell that the Joker's in, and you like look up and you look in the mirror and you're Batman, and then you like turn and you look back and you're the Joker.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
so cool.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
great.
Jensen like even came in the room when you were playing that part. You think she would have figured
Yeah,
out?
I was
Okay.
like, Jensen.
Like, even if you don't explicitly know what's going on, I feel like watching that scene, there's a lot of implications.
Yeah, I mean, well, when like the whole point of it is that you're like investigating these murders, and you're investigating the murder of like Nightwing or something. Like Nightwing's dead.
Yeah.
And you go to investigate, and it's like, it's strange. It's like someone approached him and he wasn't like, he didn't think it was hostile. Somebody knew. He turned his back on him and he died. And I was like, Batman totes killed him. Batman is like disassociating and he's killing these people.
Yes, the Joker and Batman are sharing a brain now.
Yes.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It takes place on Halloween even, and it's kind of spooky because Scarecrow's like the main villain, and his face got all disfigured by Killer Croc, so he disfigured his face further, or just rather took advantage of it and made it look like his mask. So it's like soups creepy.
Cool.
So he's got like
that's what you do.
fabric kind of like stuck to his face, and his mouth is almost sewn shut. It's really creepy and
Oh
cool.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'd do if I was a supervillain and I accidentally disfigured my face. It was just like, I'm just gonna lean into it.
Right? Yeah, seriously. He nailed it. And like his fear toxin is the biggest threat, and there's a serial killer on the loose. The Arkham Knight story arc. I'm tired.
Oh,
The Arkham Knight story arc is really cool. So it's like this guy comes in and he's got like an army and he knows all of Batman's moves, and he's trying to train these men to like take down Batman, and he's like, guys, like, I've told you everything you need to know. Why can you not take him down still?
because he's Batman.
And yeah, and it turns out, major spoilers, major, he's Jason Todd, who Batman thought the Joker killed. Joker sent him a video of himself killing Jason Todd, and so obviously Batman didn't go look for him, and he's a little bit pissed about that. So he became the Arkham Knight, and he wants vengeance. So yeah, that whole story arc is awesome.
All kinds of good Halloween-y stuff.
Yeah, it's got so many good villains. It's great, you guys. You should play it. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Elsa.
Oh, so I played 2 games.
Oh.
Jensen.
Oh, yeah.
Jensen!
Blaney, why don't you go retrieve Jensen?
I will get her. I'm being told.
Yes. Now that Laney and Jensen are gone, we can have a sophisticated
Time to spoil
podcast.
everything
Oh,
while
they're
she's
back
here and
again.
undo all of the good work you just did.
Oh, dang.
Hey.
There's so much stuff I have to step around. Stick my butt right in your face as I go around you.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
What?
Your honky tonk badonk badonk.
What?
We were
How
just,
did that come up?
we were just talking about your butt. We all like looking at it.
Yeah.
I played 2 games this month for Halloween. One is my like creepy Halloween game, Amnesia, which I have not finished yet. I'm hoping to finish it tomorrow because I actually have a day off, so
Ooh.
it's exciting.
Nice.
I know.
Would you go pick up Outer Worlds for me from GameStop?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna play Amnesia. I'm gonna finish Amnesia because I already played it for a few hours. It's really fun. I can see why people really liked this one when it came out, and of course I slept on it, which was foolish of me. It's really fun. I get the whole creepiness with the water level, although part of me kind of side-eyes the whole thing where it's like, you got away with not animating this thing, and it's scary. It's scary. Where it's like, okay, I can't tell.
It's a clever way
to have to do less work.
It's like the
Yeah.
scariest game of the floor is lava you'll ever play in your life.
Yeah, pretty much. Although
Except
my other
the floor is
game,
lava.
the other game that I'm playing is also kind of the floor is lava, except instead of the floor is lava, it's the floor is murderous plague rats. So
Where's rats?
the floor is rats.
So
that eat you
you're
if
just
you touch them.
you're just playing 1300 the game.
I'm playing a Plague Tale Innocence, which could be called 1300s in France, the English are invading. The
great.
most recent things that I read about the plague historically actually suggest that the rats didn't have really anything to do with it. It was just a rumor for a long time because people associated the rats with death.
There's just people who
And
didn't wash their hands because they
But-
were like, ew.
We'll give this game the benefit of the doubt and say that it's been in development for a long time and probably before that became a thing. Also, the rats were sort of a cool mechanic in the end. I know I heard a lot of people complain about the difficulty of this game for various reasons. I actually found it to be a lot of fun, and it wasn't like difficult in that it was, I don't know, there was one or two people who were like, this is an unfinishable game, and like that's not true. I finished it just fine. But like it did have some components to it where there was a little bit of a learning curve. Like it wasn't intuitive what you were supposed to do with this mechanic or with this challenge. And so it might take a few tries to get it. And the rats were one of those things. Like I really had a tough time figuring out especially how to control the rats when you eventually get to, like, I mean, mild spoilers, you get to a point in the game where you're not just trying to avoid getting eaten by the rats, you can actually manipulate them.
Just use peanut butter. Or pizza crusts.
It's 13th century France. The English have invaded. I've been run out of my home. I'm basically an orphan. If I can find peanut butter, I'm eating it.
Or you could give it to the rats, because rats are cute.
Okay.
Not these ones.
These ones are, actually, they are kind of cute. I got
All rats
distracted.
are cute, Aaron. They're just cute, okay?
Even when they're coming out of a dead body, I'm
Look,
like, oh,
I don't know.
you got a little snack?
Like an Until Dawn.
Yeah.
And just like, oh,
It's a rat. I just found a snack.
This might be a little weird. I do, in fact, find rats to be very cute. And I know now that this is a pure appreciation for rats because I literally got distracted during the boss battle looking at the rats.
Because they're cute.
Because I was just like, oh, look at that. Those ones aren't even doing anything. They're just standing there watching me. Like,
Rats are cute. Like,
it's like, they're so cute. And then I was like, I'm about to die.
Like they stand up and they got these like little stubby
when they
limbs.
stand up.
And they stand up
Yeah,
and
they
they
were doing
sniff
that.
things and they're like their nose twitches and you see their like little whiskers like feeling around. It's just adorable and
Okay,
cute.
that's cute.
They're
Yeah.
super cute.
It's so cute. I love rats.
When you have pet rats, you realize that they're so adorable.
Mm.
They
Yeah.
look like, and they look like they're in, you know, like the piggy bag, like sleeping bag onesies
Yeah.
that
they
the
look
kids
like
wear
they're
where
always
the,
in
the
that.
yeah, the legs are way too far down. Rats just look like they live in those. And they're furry. It's just like a furry piggy bag.
I personally feel like the people who think that rats are disgusting and scary are people who actually have not seen domesticated rats.
Yeah.
Or even wild rats. Wild rats are adorable.
Wild rats
They're
are
like
so
domesticated rats, only way smaller, so that you'd
Yeah.
probably mistake them for a mouse if you didn't know what you were looking at.
They're super
Yeah.
cute. Anyway, aside from the rats, there's lots of other things to like about this game, too.
Yes.
It's a very good game. I would encourage all of you to play it, actually. I don't feel like it's too survival horror-y. It's like puzzles and stuff, but there's more like combat and stealth, really. And it's quite a good time. It's long for the kind of game it is. Like, it feels very robust. And I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the weirdness. It's got a nice scary dragon who I realized I've been admiring concept art of for a while now. I just didn't realize it was him. And I think that there's some things about the story that I might have improved or tightened. And there's a few things here and there where I was like, well, that was a weird choice. But overall, I thought it all worked. I kind of get what they're going for with, like, thematically, where it's just essentially it's supposed to be kind of tugging at your emotions, where it's like, look at these two adorable French children. Now we're putting them in situations where everything's really hard and they have to do horrible things to survive.
For a second, I was like, this could almost be applied to Miraculous Ladybug and it would make sense.
No.
The ending bit was like, no.
No, it's different. Like, they both have to eventually straight up murder people to get through the game.
Yeah,
It's
unless you
really sad because the little boy's like 5.
Unless you call dressing
Bummer,
up
yeah.
as a vigilante and saying really dumb catchphrases in French is horrible, unspeakable things.
I would say I'm a little bit sad it doesn't go too much deeper than just, this is sad.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of where it stops. Its exploration. Which, like, maybe that's enough. Like, it is sad. It's war. It sucks. But I personally, I would have liked it if it had gone a few levels deeper, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that for what it was effective. You know, I got teary at the end. It's poignant, and it was a very, very beautiful game. It's got a nice photo mode. I actually took some pictures, which I never do, because it was pretty. And I really liked it. And I think that all three of you, and any listeners that might exist, we know you're there.
We laugh because it seems so far-fetched.
I actually do think that this is a very this is a very like playable game for anybody who kind of likes, you know, these types of games where it's puzzles and it's combat and strategy and stealth and all kinds of fun things, and I really liked it.
Well, first I'm going to do just a quick rundown of the games that I beat since the last episode.
Oh,
So I finished Lego Star Wars Clone Wars and got all the achievements. I finished Headlander and got the platinum.
Ooh.
And I finished Infamous, my evil playthrough, and got the platinum.
Woohoo.
And I got that one last night. It was fun. As for my spooky Halloween game, I played Dead Space. My experience playing Dead Space is like, I'm walking around and I'm going very slowly. Like, I started out thinking, oh, maybe I should stream this, or like maybe we should record me playing some. And then as soon as the necromorph started attacking and I was let loose in the game, I stood there for a solid 5 minutes going, I don't really want to go anywhere.
Jensen, I commend you for thinking that maybe you should record it, but I was there with you when you were playing it.
It was boring as hell, wasn't it?
It was boring as heck because all she did was... Jensen has very good aim in games, so she's not bad at combat. So all she does is she walks around, and when a necromorph shows up, she goes, ah! And then by that point, she's already shot it and killed it. She's just like, oh. Yeah. And she kept doing over and over and over again.
It's like
screaming, it's dead.
It's like I'm fine, but I'm low level scared, walking around really slowly. And then a necromorph pops out of somewhere. I scream. I've already fired. Its legs are gone. And then I go, oh, okay, and I'm fine. And then I'm low level scared and walking around again. It's just like a spike in terror, and then I'm fine again.
It's building tension, and then it drops once you kill it. And then it builds tension and drops once you kill it, instead of building tension.
Essentially, it's just a game of jump scares for Jensen.
It's just a game of jump scares. But I'm making my way through it okay. I'm in chapter 3 now. Close to the end of chapter 3. I just did the centrifuge part, which the centrifuge part... It was kind of awesome. Like, you have to find the engine room and, like, start up the centrifuge, like, engine thingy. I'm not totally sure what I'm doing. I know I'm trying to get the ship restarted.
To get the ship to start.
Either.
That's not what centrifuges are for.
I don't really know exactly what I'm doing. All I know is I'm doing stuff to get the ship working again. Like, I had to get the fuel working. Like, I had to fill the tank.
Oh, maybe it has something to do with separating stuff.
That part was
fuel.
frustrating because the whole time I could see exactly what it wanted me to do. And I'm like, you're just setting me up for all this crap. And I mean, I know that's the whole point of the game, but I still feel betrayed. When I got to the centrifuge, I made my way through it, and I had to, like, connect the things, the power thing, so it would start spinning. And then as soon as I connected and turned it on, the centrifuge starts going, and I go out and I'm trying to run so that I don't get hit and smushed by it. I died several times. First time and only time I've died so far in the game has been from that. And one of the times I was going and I started running, and then my buddy calls me and starts talking to me, and Isaac immediately slows down to a walk as he's talking with his friend who's, like, giving him instructions. And I'm just like, well, you killed me. Thank you. And the centrifuge comes by and just smushes me. I'm like, thank you, dude. You just killed me. And right as soon as I finished that, too, I was, like, talking to Lainey, and I was leaving the area, and I was like, I feel really good about it, the amount that I've accomplished today. You know, I feel confident in my abilities. I'm doing okay in this game. And all of a sudden, this huge, monstrous arm shoots through the hallway, grabs Isaac, and just starts pulling him down, and I'm just screaming, shooting him.
Yeah, that is exactly what happened. She got video of it. She was just talking so peaceful, and then out of nowhere, this creepy tentacle hentai thing, just out of nowhere, grabs her. And she just goes, ah! And I'm like, what?
I think that's the goal, is for it to happen like that.
No, it does.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
But it was
purposefully
funny
when you're sitting there being casual.
because
Yeah.
Jensen was being casual. Like,
Well,
it
I
wasn't
knew-
inward, it was outward. She was
Yeah.
talking to me.
Yeah.
I knew there was going to be something in the hallway because, okay, I studied level design. I know what they're doing. And so I know that every time I finish a thing, when I go to the hallway before that was previously empty and peaceful and probably has a save area, that there's going to be some kind of threat there that I have to deal with. It's happened every single time. And so I knew there was going to be something, but I didn't expect it to be a huge flippin' monster arm that just grabs me and starts dragging me down the hallway. That was surprising. Also, they keep trying to trick me with dead necromorphs lying in the middle of of an open area, just like a dead one. And I come up and I'm like,
Nah.
you're not tricking me.
I'ma poke that.
Yeah, you're not dead. And so I immediately shoot its head off, and then it starts crawling at me. And I'm like, what did I tell you? I knew it. I knew it. You can't pull one over on me. I studied this stuff. This doesn't make it any less terrifying.
Jensen has a master's in gameology. I studied this stuff.
But anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I plan on continuing, and I'm going to try and beat it, and I'm going to try and get all the achievements. I think I can do it. It's going to be scary. There's going to be many more screams ahead, but I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
So I
And-
will prepare by taking Excedrin
Yes.
beforehand.
You'll need to take a lot of Excedrin. And just a quick note before I move on. I feel like Dead Space, BioShock, and Prey are like sister games. They have very similar things about them. Like, they all involve a protagonist who is coming to an area that they either have only they have no memory of being in, but they have been there, or they've only been there once. I think Isaac has just been there to visit, and Jack was from Rapture, and Morgan doesn't remember that they've been on this station the whole time and stuff, and you're fighting some creepy thing that takes over people, like Insanity in BioShock, the mimics who they basically just turn people into other mimics, and then the necromorphs that are dead bodies that come back to life, and there's a lot of similarities, and I just feel like it's like a family of games, and I like that.
Of us three sisters, we are the three games. I'm Dead Space, you're Prey, Jensen's Prey, and Elsa is BioShock.
That's fair.
I kind of see that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Wait, why are you Dead Space?
Because I'm a science major.
Because
Oh.
she's dead inside.
Yeah, I guess you are the only STEM field one of us.
Yeah.
Why am I Prey?
Because-
Besides just that I like it a lot. It's my favorite of the games.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's closer to Mass Effect than anything
It's
else.
closest to
It's
Mass
really
Effect.
fun.
It's the most science fiction out of all of them. And Elsa's BioShock because...
It sounds like something I would have
It's
written.
left over.
Well, it does. It
It
does
does.
feel like something you would have written.
Yeah.
And it's super weird.
Anyway.
Like
A
you.
circus of values.
And my last game I'll talk about with Lainey.
Yeah, so not the last time, but a couple weeks ago we were hanging out with Aaron and Zach and James, I think he was there too.
Yeah.
And we're looking at some of the games that are coming out, and we stumbled upon Greedfall,
Yeah.
which
I had just barely heard about it that day because I was looking through Game Informer and they had reviewed it.
and it's a spiders game, which Jensen was familiar with because
Yeah.
she's played Bound
They
by
did-
Flame, and we were following
and
the
Technomancer,
Technomancer,
yeah.
but we didn't end up getting it or playing it because
I have it actually. I have it
you
on
have
PC
it?
and on Xbox, but I haven't really played
but
very
we
much.
haven't played. And
It's kind of okay.
you may also know Spiders as the famous game before they were called Spiders, as the famous game that made that Sherlock game.
Yeah,
with
at least that's what
Watson.
the internet has said, is that they made the Sherlock game where Watson just appears behind you
Because
whenever
they
you turn
didn't
around.
bother animating him walking.
Yeah.
But we watched the trailer for it, and at first we were like, okay, yeah. And then as we kept watching the trailer, we were like, yeah, actually, this
It was
looks
like
really
a
fun.
5-minute trailer, and it was just really in depth.
It really sold the game,
Yeah.
actually.
By the end, we were like,
We wanna
ravenous
get
about it. We were
this.
like, we have to get this game tomorrow.
So we did.
Yeah.
The next day after work, we went
And we found it.
We bought
There,
it.
the thing is, though, the
There
weird
were
thing
only
is,
one. There's only one copy in all of Utah.
yeah, at GameStop.
At GameStop.
And one copy in all of Utah at Best Buy.
And we got those
For
copies.
PlayStation. Well, I didn't get the Best Buy one because it was too far away and you guys didn't want to drive there, so I had to get mine off Amazon.
That's what she did.
So Lainey got the one at GameStop because when we found out there's only one copy, she goes, I'll buy it.
Because I'm a jerk.
Yeah.
But we've been playing it. I'm still playing it quite a lot, and
I've been playing a lot too.
I'm really enjoying it. I definitely think that Spider stepped it up, and it's been reflected through that by the reviews. Lots of people have liked it. Spiders is obviously very proud of it, and I think it's rightly so. It's an interesting game, and yeah, it's a good time. And the best way that I can describe it, as we described it, the premise of the game is, oops, you did a colonialism.
Now
Time
you
to
gotta
fix it. And it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
That's essentially
now
the
we're
plot.
even.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Essentially, it's oops, we did a colonialism.
That's really what it is.
You're just like a diplomat trying to fix the
Trying to be like, no.
relations with
Learning
everyone on this
about
island.
things that the colonists
But-
did to piss off the natives
Like,
and just being like, you
No,
guys.
you don't get to take their land and give them beads.
Literally.
That happens.
Literally, that's a quest. And I was just like, oh, no. You gave them
I'm
beads.
so afraid that we're gonna find out that, like, the Bridge Alliance gave them diseased blankets.
know.
Like, I'm just like, oh my goodness, if you guys did this, I'm actually going to, like, get on the boat and leave this island forever.
It's
Bye, guys.
but it's quite fun. It feels like they wanted to make like a BioWare game and they got really close.
Close.
It feels a bit like a cross between Dragon Age Inquisition with like the aesthetic of Witcher 3 in some areas.
But piratey.
And piratey, yeah. Super piratey.
Because there's so many tricorn hats.
Yeah.
But
It's great.
yes, we definitely suggest it if you like RPGs and Bioware games, and specifically games with like interesting storylines for every quest.
Every quest
The-
is
the
interesting. There
storyline
hasn't been
is
a boring one.
interesting.
Except for the one you did for Kurt that you hated.
I hated that one. I hated it so much.
But I don't think it was so much that it was boring. I think it was
'cause
just
it's
that
Kurt.
it was you don't like Kurt and you had to kind of go all over and talk to a bunch of different people.
And I was sort of like,
helping
why am I
Kurt.
helping Kurt when I could be hanging out with Bosco, the weird pirate with cool facial tattoos?
yeah.
So
Anyway.
that was Greedfall.
great.
So on to my spoopy game that we just recorded me playing, and then found out that all the recording for Resi 7 it's blocked. You can't record on the game. So we just
They
have,
let us record 6 seconds of the menu.
yeah, so we just have a recording of me playing the game on the couch, but no screen recording. So that's fun. It's fine. I'm very tired afterward, because I don't play horror games ever. And the last time I tried to play an actually scary horror game, until Dawn and Man and Medan are not included in this, was Layers of Fear. When I walked into the main part of the house and I opened one drawer and I went, nope, and I turned it off.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So I played Resi 7, and I gotta say it's definitely a spooper, and I don't plan to play any more of it because I'm a big coward, but I can tell it's a good game.
She earned 4 trophies, and those are the only 4 trophies she will ever earn from that game.
I got to family dinner, and I got
Yes.
past family dinner actually because I survived.
She got past the what's his
Dad.
bucket, Daddy Baker,
With a
whatever.
shovel.
Yeah, with the shovel chasing around. She was like trying to
I was shimmying around
shimmy
him.
past him between him and the wall.
Just gotta
She didn't go
sneak
the
past
long like
Jeff.
around him to the area where there was more space in the hallway. She just tried to shimmy between him and the corner.
I just
Get
in
past.
case he changed his mind and he wanted to give me a hug instead.
He didn't seem that concerned with chasing you down though, because
No.
once you got away, he just kind of kept walking
Yeah.
into the kitchen.
Around. He didn't really
He just
care.
didn't care.
I feel like he just like kind of wanted. So what happened too? The first time I ran into him was I turn the corner and I look down the hall and he walks in and he's sort of just standing there at the very end and I just like nope. And I just started walking backwards, and then I walked out of the hall, and I hid around the corner, and I was like, I need to go past there, don't I? And Elsa's just like, yup. And so I start walking, and then I turn the corner again, he's way closer, and he's just like, boy! And he's got the shovel, and I'm just like, I'm shimmying past him, and then I'm running over, and I pick up
She picked up a picture like mid-run and just looked at
I
it.
was like, no, I didn't want to do that. I had to pick up a key and like run to the latch, and then I like run into him again, but like I could have walked.
She could have gone the other way around the couch and he wouldn't have been
It
able
would
to
have
catch
taken
her.
more time.
But instead she just like tried to jump over the couch and get past him that way, and it was really awkward.
Look, I'm willing to look like a complete idiot and get way more injured if it means that I can spend less time in a chase scene. That is what I'm realizing about my playstyle.
Yeah.
I think your flimsy attempts at escape just kind of like made his bloodlust go down. He's like, well, this isn't as
He's
fun.
kind of bored. He's like,
It's not as
wow,
fun as I was hoping.
what are
She's
you doing?
politely trying to scoot around me. So
Yeah.
Excuse me.
the
Excuse
thrill
me.
of the chase is gone.
She's just kind of knocking her shins against the couch. I don't know what that's about. I guess I'll just wait till she's done.
Oh,
Yeah, I think Daddy Baker kind of lost interest in chasing me because I was just such a weird.
He's gonna let you go. He's like,
Excuse me.
probably better that way.
Yeah.
Little did they know you could manipulate the AI by acting weird.
No one ever tried it before because
Yeah.
no one's such a weirdo in horror games when it comes to me.
So unfortunately, that video will not exist
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we just don't have the footage for it, and everything that we've looked into it sounds like this is kind of a general problem with
Yeah.
Resi 7, where they just really want to block it. And I don't know that we're going to talk about this too much because we kind of want to get through the rest of our spoopy outline.
We're
But
already an hour in.
like, I think we can all agree that this trend of game companies and even of like consoles or even on PC, apparently this is a problem as well, where they try and like block footage so you can't record it.
It's so annoying.
It's very annoying.
It's infuriating.
And like as an attorney, this is precisely why I kind of decided I didn't want to go into copyright law after all. I thought about it for a while, and the truth is it's really counterintuitive and backwards. I feel like as a profession, I guess, if I was to go into copyright law, it would be a lot of me just being very frustrated that everybody can't just work together to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't that be their goal?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to be their goal.
Yeah.
It's their goal seems to be cling to outdated practices that really shouldn't apply when the landscape is just so different now.
Yeah.
But whatever, it's fine. I guess they don't realize that half the games I bought this year I bought because I watched somebody else
Yeah.
play
Mm.
it.
I had
Come on,
no
guys.
online.
It's free
No.
advertising.
Yeah.
I had no intention whatsoever of getting Dark Souls before I watched a Let's Play.
Yeah.
When I watched a Let's Play of Dark Souls, I suddenly was like, I'm jealous that I'm not playing this, and I have to play it.
Yeah, that's been my reaction. A lot
And then
of
I
the
bought it.
time.
And then I bought a second copy.
Frequently, I don't even watch very much of a Let's Play. I might just like let it cycle to one on YouTube or whatever. But I'll catch 2 or 3 minutes, and I know usually during those 2 or 3 minutes of watching actual gameplay, not like manipulated E3, this is gameplay. Like watching actual gameplay is a different experience, and it's much more engaging. It makes you realize what it's actually going to feel like to be in that world. And I can usually figure out pretty quickly whether or not I'm interested. And yeah, like this has convinced me to get several games this year alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, kind of feel like maybe there's something beneficial there.
Yeah.
That
it's
they're
free
just-
advertising.
It's free advertising.
That they're somehow rationalizing away. That like,
Yeah.
oh, it's not as beneficial to us as, you know, keeping a stranglehold on our copyright.
That's dumb.
I guess. I don't know.
Especially
That's dumb.
because
Screw you.
games these days are like $60,
Yeah.
and if you have bills to pay, that's a lot of money. So you don't want to invest in a game that you're gonna hate.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you got to check it out first.
And maybe that's it. Maybe they think that we're all more willing to invest in a game we hate than after. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. I just don't
They're
think...
not. They're not thinking.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just greedy D-bags.
So maybe
Yeah.
this is just coming from us being frustrated that we just recorded for
Yeah.
like an hour and
And
don't have anything.
it was
But-
unclear online whether it was just Resi 7 like completely or whether it had to do with having HDR on, which I think that just is on with PlayStation Pro.
And
Isn't
we've been
it?
able to record
think
on
so.
PlayStation Pro before. So
Yeah.
what the heck?
I don't know what the
Mm.
deal is,
And
but
there
it was
have
just really
been-
annoying.
There have been some games where there's just like a general block. We had all that trouble with Bioshock
Yeah.
before.
Ratchet and Clank would block certain movie
Yeah.
scenes, but it would the gameplay was open completely.
Yeah.
And
Well-
Anthem blocks just the very beginning thing
Yeah.
when you start up the game where it just shows like the ranger,
Mm-hmm.
but that's it.
I seem to remember there being a whole debacle with Persona 5 too.
Oh yeah, Persona 5
Yeah.
I don't think you can record a single thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just want to transition into our next topic. We were able to record for Man of Medan.
Yeah, we do
Yes.
have a video
Yeah,
that we're
so we
going to
have
be putting
And we're
out.
working on
So,
yeah.
yay.
That'll
Gonna
be
be-
nice for Halloween.
Not
so.
the Resi 7 one, but
Sadly.
we do have Man of Medan. So what were
Yeah.
your thoughts on Man of Medan, Aaron?
So overall, I liked it. It was an enjoyable experience. Lots of fun jump scares, but also more of like a Haunting of Hill House style, as you guys described it, where they're just kind of chilling in the background, and out of the corner of your eye, you might catch it, but like blink and you'll miss it, kind of thing. That makes it infinitely more scary somehow. But that was really fun. I enjoyed those moments a lot. I was hoping it would be a little bit longer. I know they want you to do multiple playthroughs, and honestly, if it were longer, I wouldn't have a problem playing it a few more times. Like, yeah, I'd be even more excited because, you know, I really like when choices in games affect the playthrough overall on a very deep level. So I guess we only lost, like, spoilers, 2 people. And that shortened the game quite a bit, apparently. And I'm pretty sure on Until Dawn, if you keep, like, a few players, you still get to play quite a bit of the game, as far as I understand. So that was a little
Just gotta
disappointing.
play till Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
they all die.
That's right. But yeah, overall, super fun.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Elsa?
So I would basically just ditto everything you said. I think that we all kind of had similar feelings in the game overall. And, you know, specifically about the length, I do think that the storytelling was, I mean, it's weird because I think I criticized a lot of the writing in Until Dawn, but I definitely felt like the storytelling in Man of Medan kind of had some weaknesses that I didn't notice in Until Dawn. I had a hard time keeping track of where the characters were and what they were doing and what their individual goals and challenges were in Man of
Mhm.
Medan. And in Until Dawn, like, you could vividly know where everybody was at every step of the game and like what they were trying to do, what their purpose in this area was, how they got there. Like, all of that was really clear. In
Mhm.
Man of Medan, not so much. It was a lot more amorphous, and maybe some of that has to do with some of the themes and with the whole idea of the Manchurian Gold. I don't know. But it did make for, I thought, less effective and weaker storytelling overall. The characters weren't as engaging, but they were fine. Like, I got to like them more by the end, so that's good. I didn't like them less
Yeah.
That
after
would've been bad.
initially meeting them, which sometimes that happens. I think overall I do prefer Until Dawn, but I like what Dark Pictures is putting out there for us, and I'm curious to see what more they do. And I do want to play through this one a few more times and just kind of see some of those other possibilities that we kind of missed along the way. Yeah.
Well, I think that Man of Medan's biggest strength is the branching and the options, and I feel compelled to platinum it, if only to just see more possible endings and more ways that you can die, and just how the story can change depending on the choices that you make and the things that you do. And I still really want to do a playthrough where you say nothing the whole time, just to see
Say
what
nothing
happens.
playthrough.
I really want to do that. But I also overall think I liked Until Dawn a little bit more. And I think the main reason is because of the characters. Because my favorite thing in any media, or anything at all, in movies, TV, books, video games, is characters. I am obsessed with characters, and I want to get to know them, and I want to feel connected to them. And the characters in Man of Medan were just not as well rounded as they were in Until Dawn. And it was harder for me to feel connected to them. There were certain things that affected me, and there were certain characters that I felt really, that I did feel quite connected to. So Fliss in particular, I felt like I understood her, and so I felt more connected to her than any of the other characters.
Okay, so let's just discuss.
Oh,
Wait,
Oh,
what
I'm
about
sorry.
Lainey?
Lainey, I forgot.
it's fine. I'll just get
I'm
up
gonna
and
leave.
leave.
I'm sorry.
I feel like
Lainey.
this happens every podcast, and it's like becoming a running joke, but it's not even a very funny running joke.
Oh,
I
I
forget that you were
something.
here
It's fine.
because you weren't here at the beginning.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Okay, go on.
Shut up. I'm just going to say that it definitely plays different from Until Dawn, and I think that that's the major, like, I think that some people might have been let down by Man of Medan because it doesn't play like Until Dawn. It's a lot shorter, and it's not meant to be played like Until Dawn. It's meant to be played over and over and over again, and it's probably meant to be played more couch co-op or online co-op.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like Man of Medan, however. I thought it was a fun time. It was eerie, spoopy, and I did end up liking all of the characters by the end. I did enjoy all of them. Even though, like, the second I met Conrad, I was like, what a douchebag. And then by the end, I was like, I think he might be my favorite character because he's a freaking idiot. But I definitely think the biggest strength of Man of Medan was the couch co-op, because it was just so fun to play it with other people and to pass the controller, because we already did that with Until Dawn, but
Yeah.
Man of Medan, like, how it kept...
Man of Medan was set up to do that.
Man of Medan was set up to do that, and it, like, kept track of your, like, stats, like the most relationship increases or relationship decreases, or the most deaths or stuff like that. That was so fun. I loved it.
Most miss QTEs.
Yes, most miss QTEs. It was very fun.
Was
So-
that you or was that Lainey who got that?
No, I think it was,
No.
Was it Elsa?
it was Elsa.
I got most missed QTs, but I also had the most QTs.
You had the most
Yeah.
QTs
So that
of
makes
total,
sense.
so
I didn't
that
have
made sense. I had one.
Very many.
I had a single QTE in
I
the
had-
whole game,
I
and
had
it was
several.
just to climb into a vent.
So in
hate you.
my defense, I had like
The most.
way more QTEs.
Yeah.
Than
Yeah.
most.
So, yeah,
It was very skewed.
I have to say I'm definitely excited for Little Hope. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think so.
Which is the next one in the Dark Pictures anthology, because I'm sure that they're going to learn something from Man of Medan, but
And
they're definitely gonna keep that couch co-op part, and that's the funnest, I would say.
And I bet it's gonna have to do with witches.
Yeah,
Witches.
I love witches.
Seriously,
Witches or cults. It's gonna be one
Both.
of those. Or both.
at the
A
same
witch
time.
cult. A witch cult.
cult.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm excited.
I think they're
So-
actually called covens.
I was thinking
Well,
a cult
yeah.
of people worshipping witches.
Either way,
I mean,
Don't
you would
matter.
know. I mean, you meet with your coven every Saturday.
every Monday night now.
Oh, Monday night?
Yeah.
They switched to Mondays? Was it not working for Jessica?
It was
Okay.
never. It hasn't been Saturday for like
Strawberries.
7 years.
Casual Monday night for Shia LaBeouf.
Casual Monday night coven meetups for frozen yogurt.
Okay, scariest survival horror game you have ever played, and we will start with Erin because your answers are the games we were just talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Until Dawn and Man of Medan are the closest I've come, and they are the closest I will ever come because I am scared of being chased. I hate it.
Same.
I would actually consider that Asylum level and Thief to be probably
Yeah.
Yeah,
I kinda count those.
I can't do that.
Both Asylum in Thief 3 and the Asylum in Thief
Yeah.
So
reboot
many
are
asylums.
both really terrifying. Yeah, something about asylums. Specifically in the third game, it was at one point an asylum and an orphanage at different times.
Oh, that's
thank
not a good
you.
idea.
Yeah. And then it was burned down, which obviously it's going to be
It's
haunted.
cursed. Why wouldn't they just salt the land?
And it's been a long time, and granted, I think I was playing it at like 2 a.m., so I don't know how like coherent I was. But what I remember about those levels is that they were very survival horror-esque
Yeah.
in that they didn't really rely on jump scares either. It was like a growing sense of dread.
Yeah.
Like that atmosphere was pretty solid.
Oh, it was solid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think the only like jump scare moment of the whole thing was just when you accidentally ran into the janitor and he started attacking you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's
The
like
janitor
the
ghost.
hall monitor or something.
Yeah, and you got away pretty quickly, but it was terrifying because he's invisible, and then suddenly he was just attacking you, and you were just getting attacked.
Comes up behind you, and you feel your controller vibrate, and the sound of someone hitting you in the back, and just like,
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
who are you?
Look, I want to play Thief. I want to play all of those games, but because of those levels, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Guess I won't.
Yeah.
That's interesting that that's the way that they decided to do a jump scare in Thief is with making your controller vibrate suddenly,
Yeah.
as though somebody shoved you
That's
from
pretty-
behind.
It was really creepy.
It's
and
clever.
Creepy, yeah.
And
Yeah.
he shows up a few times, and apparently it's if you leave doors open and drawers open or something like that.
That's so weird, and that makes me even scared.
it's
I actually
because
want to cry right
you're,
now.
You're
It's fine.
leaving the place a mess, and he wants to leave
He's
it.
offended by that.
Yeah, he wants
Yes.
to make sure it's
I
tidy.
think I
He's a very dedicated employee of this Asylum.
Yeah,
I
he
bet
is.
that he was one of those kids where if you didn't tuck in your chair, he would have like gotten mad at you and like tucked in your chair for you. And
Or
then
one
the
of those-
teacher said to tuck in your chair.
Or one of those kids who reminded the teacher of the homework.
Yes, he was.
The
one of
teacher,
those.
don't we have homework?
He's a Professor Stanford.
Professor Stanford. Son of a
The
bitch.
child who's like, I really don't want to go to recess. Can I stay in the room and help clean up everybody's desk?
Look, I had no vendetta against that kid. That kid has a special place in my heart.
That kid
Because
was
I
me.
was that kid.
I was about to say.
I
Were
never-
you that kid?
Look,
I still am that kid.
Let's
be real.
I didn't remind the teacher that we had homework or anything, but I did get after other kids for not pushing in their chairs. And I was like, I don't want to go to recess. Can I just stay in here and like clean or something?
I was definitely not that kid. I was the kid who hid her homework in her desk until there was so much there that the teacher had to like call my parents.
I remember that.
And then I had to do homework every day for like a month.
You
Like-
seem to remember helping you.
I'd like
clean
I'd
out
come
your
home and I'd
desk
do it
once.
for hours, and then and it was so bad, and I cried every day.
And Lainey, I wasn't one of your classmates, but I can vividly imagine you like making really uncomfortable and angry eye contact with somebody as you slam their chair into the desk.
Oh, I definitely did that all the time. Because, look, how hard is it to tuck in your chair, though?
Right?
Like, I still have a very strong feeling about this. When people don't tuck in their chair, it just irks me. I'm like, did you learn nothing? Like, if anything, from elementary school, you must have at least learned to tuck in your damn chair!
Strawberries.
I'm sorry.
Okay, then I'm next. So,
Yes.
scariest
Yes.
survival horror game I've ever played. I've played a lot. But I am thinking specifically and very fondly of PT right now. And maybe that's because Death Stranding's coming up next month and I'm psyched. But I think it actually might have a little bit of something to do with Renegade's Cuts video that he did on the hidden meaning of PT. It's really good. You can find it on YouTube. Fascinating. And he basically posits the theory that that PT was essentially Kojima's way of like expressing his feelings about basically Konami telling him that they were gonna not renew his contract and he was fired or whatever. It's like he points out that there's all this really interesting symbolism in PT that seems to be very consistent with what was going on in his life at the time, and that essentially serves as a little coded message of like, I've been fired, these guys are jerks, and I'm gonna do something else, something new is gonna begin from this. And like that PT, by the time they released the trailer, he would have known that the Silent Hills project was canceled, and he released it anyway as a kind of big FU
Look.
to Konami, which is probably why the trailer ended up getting taken down. Like, it was really interesting. Like, it kind of got into all of this. But as far as the scariness of that game goes, I think one of the things about it that was so creepy to me is I could tell it was trying to say something, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And to me, that's the scariest type of survival horror game, is when there's some kind of message and trying to work out what it is. I mean, maybe it has to do with the idea of like ghosts or anything supernatural or anything like that trying to communicate with you, and you kind of get that feeling through the machine. So there's my weird take on it.
Yeah.
Can I need to remember that later in life when stuff isn't working out for me, I should just pull a Kojima and make a beautiful piece of art out of it.
Yeah.
And then do a big F you to whoever is making my
Whoever's
life
wronged
worse.
you.
Whoever's wronged me.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
it was interesting, but it also made me recall playing that game and just loving it, but at the same time being so disturbed by like some of the implications and trying to figure out what it all meant. And I don't know, it's a very eerie game.
I think I will say, watching you play that, the part that was most upsetting.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Scream sneezer.
The part that was most upsetting was the fact that it was almost incomprehensible. Like, what I'm watching it and I'm trying to devise a meaning, and it's so difficult to understand what the game is telling you, or what even Lisa was trying to tell you.
Well, even like taking his theory into account and posing this meaning onto the trailer, it doesn't make it less scary. It just makes it more interesting.
That's
it's
true.
still really scary and eerie.
In fact, it's so scary. I'm getting freaked out just remembering you playing it.
I'm like
move on?
hearing Lisa's weeping in my
I
in my
know,
head
and I
right now,
can't
and I
stop
don't want to
picturing her.
keep thinking of it.
Fun fact, someone modded the game so that you could turn your camera
Yeah.
around. Lisa is always behind you.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, it's so
Yeah.
scary.
Thanks.
There's both practical reasons for that, like so she can appear in the mirror,
Mhm.
but also it's just freaking crazy and scary, and it would explain
please
why.
stop?
Okay, yeah, we'll stop. Okay.
I'm like,
I feel like something's
I know,
rolling
I
down
feel
my
like something
spine
is
right
watching
now.
me now. It's freaking me
Yeah,
out.
I can
Well, shut
feel.
up
I
about
feel
PG.
like she's behind me. Can we just keep going?
She's not behind you.
I'm so sorry. I
Aaron,
didn't think that would work so well.
Aaron successfully spooked Blaney.
As I was telling Lainey that there was nothing behind her, Aaron acted like there was, and Lainey freaked out.
I like collapsed onto Aaron.
That
Fell
was
off her chair.
Erin had this look on her face, and it was just like this really convincing, stricken look of fear.
I still feel like something's behind me. Okay.
That was really, really good, Erin.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
I'm not usually the one scaring, so it was kind of fun.
It's good.
I'm usually the
That
one.
looks creepy. Okay.
It's
I know,
a
sometimes that picture of a car looks like a face.
It looks like a face.
Sometimes it looks like a face.
So,
I can see that.
I've also
Yeah.
been listening to a lot of my favorite murder. Can we please keep going?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So my scariest survival horror game was probably Outlast Whistleblower. Lainey made me play it for her birthday.
Yeah.
And I played the whole game in one sitting, and I just ran through it, and I didn't hardly pick up anything. I think I picked up 2 batteries in the whole game, and I just kind of careened through it.
Because it was scary.
Yeah, it was terrifying, and my heart was going so fast, and I was so scared the whole time.
I
And
really appreciate that you did that
Yeah.
for me.
You're welcome.
Can I just say, I feel like some people would call me a hypocrite because I would never play a game like that myself, but I'd make you play it.
And then you bought it for me for my birthday.
Yeah.
That's what she got me for my birthday was the Outlast trilogy, and she's like, "Now you have to play them all."
But I would just like to counter argument that I am aware of this part of me and that I do not care. And I yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Jensen.
Anyway, that was definitely the scariest one. Possibly the only survival horror I've ever played. I mean, does Until Dawn count? Does
Sure.
Dead Space count?
Yeah, I think they count.
Dead Space, you have a weapon, and Until Dawn
lit,
is
too.
So,
You
Well
still
lit.
have to
I don't
survive.
know.
Yeah, you can.
okay. Then it's not the only one, but it is the scariest one. So yeah.
Yeah, survival horror can include violence. My favorites don't, but it's fine. It's fun.
Well, you inflicting violence, not you.
I still-
inflicting violence.
Yeah.
I did
Other
enjoy.
people inflicting violence on each other while you watch.
I did enjoy Outlast Whistleblower, despite being so terrified, but it definitely was one of my scariest gaming experiences ever. That and when Elsa made me play through the cornfield part of Outlast 2.
I thought you liked it.
It was so scary.
Oh.
I got through it. I'm weirdly good at survival horror,
She is
you guys.
very
What's
good at
the
it.
deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did get through it, which is impressive because I think that was when I was playing it through on hard.
Oh.
Because I had played it, because I beat it a couple of times
Yeah.
before I got to that playthrough. And then I was like, I really don't want to do the cornfield thing right now. And I was just like, Jensen, do you want to? And you got through it fine. And I was like,
First try.
good job. Precisely because I'm pretty sure I was on a harder difficulty at that point.
Yeah.
But you were doing good.
I don't know, I'm weirdly good at survival horror, but I can't play it because it's too scary.
Yeah.
And Lainey,
Well-
what's your answer? What's the scariest game you've ever played?
Look, I just played Resi 7. Not beaten because I'm never gonna beat that. But I played like an hour.
So just like an hour ago.
I'm gonna count it.
Yeah.
It was scary. Look, here's the deal. I've seen that beginning part before. It was my first time playing it though. And yeah. It was scary. I think the part in the water was the scariest bit.
It's pretty creepy.
That I feel like water, being drenched in water and having to go through it knowing that there's something underneath that might pull you under is super creepy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like waist-high standing water is terrifying.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that was waist high standing pee.
Yeah, it might have been
And
pee.
dead bodies.
Which pee makes it slightly less scary, but a lot more disgusting. You know?
Yeah, because I mean, at least there's an explanation of
Because
like why there's
at
so
least-
much of it down
at
there. It's
least
like that's the outhouse. You're just in the outhouse.
Because at least
So-
then you're like
Ugh.
walking
It's
through a
gross,
bunch
but-
of pee and you can at least laugh because you're like, pee.
Because otherwise, it's like why is there so much water underneath this house? I don't know. That just freaks me out more than
Cursed.
just why is there so much pee underneath this house?
It's like,
So-
well, people be peeing.
Yeah.
People be peeing.
And animals.
You know,
They
what?
always be peeing.
The most consistent thing throughout all of history is that people be peeing. So
This
you
is all
let it
getting
go and-
cut.
Yeah, we gotta cut this.
Especially the fear of sitting on a disgusting toilet seat.
Yeah.
Like, they just
Honestly,
have to stand.
The
Yeah.
best survival horror game is just trying to find like not disgusting bathroom and going in it.
Are you saying that every single pee dream I've ever had could be a survival horror
Yes.
game?
In fact, I think I might
Yes.
like
Oh.
that's mine.
Is that a graceful segue into our next question?
Oh,
Yes, it is.
So-
I totally didn't do that on purpose.
So-
I
Will you
did.
cut that sound I just made?
What's
Yeah.
your name?
We're probably
I was
gonna
like,
cut.
oh!
Oh.
Honestly, we haven't been
I'm
cutting
going
the
to
last
cut it out,
couple-
but then I'm going to turn it into your notification
Yeah.
noise on my phone,
That's
like I did
what you
with
did with
Lainey's
me.
laugh.
Where's like a cackle?
we have not edited a ton from the last couple of episodes. I have a feeling this one's gonna be pretty heavy on it.
Yeah,
it's
it
already
is. Sorry,
like
guys.
84 minutes.
Yeah.
So turn one of your nightmares into a survival horror game really quick. Aaron.
Ooh, so I actually had a recent dream that was a little bit like a level on a video game. So, like, you had to hide in different rooms in a certain order, and you had to hide in exactly the right spot, or the shadowy figure would find you and you would lose and have to start over.
Ooh.
It was super stressful because I kept failing, and I guess you could say it's like a low budget, much less scary version of Alien Isolation.
Yeah.
Oh.
That works.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to summarize this. I had an ice skating dream recently. And I
What's scary about that?
listen,
Tell us also.
listen.
Tell us.
Yeah, let's go.
So here's my premise. You're out in the woods and it's snowing
Cool.
and there's ice and you have
Me.
a cold meter that basically means that as the longer it takes you to find shelter, the colder you're going to get and the slower your movements are going to get and the more likely you are to succumb to things like frostbite
Exposure.
and lose the use of your fine digits and then eventually maybe even your entire body. So you have a timer essentially and you have a limited
It's
ability to
entirely
pick things up
time.
depending on how cold it is
Mm.
and how to help them. So if you wait too long, then you're just out of luck. And there are some ice skating demons coming after you.
Ice skating.
And
demons.
the ice that you're walking across
Are they from the Progressive
occasionally,
commercial?
and you're walking, you have to occasionally cross icy areas and the ice can crack and you
Oh.
can fall through.
Cool.
And if you fall through the ice, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to go back to your checkpoint. You can climb out and keep going, but now your cold meter gets taken down even more. And so you have less time and you're moving slower. And these demon things are coming after you and you have to figure out puzzles to like avoid them because they're faster than you. And then you find your way to the shelter. And you're okay for a minute. You warm up, you renew your health. and then the heat goes out, and water spills all over the ground, and it turns into a big ice skating rink, and the demons reappear, and the game keeps going.
Oh my
So
Interesting.
Elsa just
Twist.
made like Stress Dream the game.
Seriously. I just have to say though, when you said the demons are ice skating,
I just imagine
my
figure
first
skating
thought,
demons.
yes, my first thought was, you know, the monster in Ghostbusters, the like horned demon looking monster thingy. I think that Sigourney Weaver and what's his bucket turn into.
The, like the Gorgon,
The
gargoyles,
Yeah.
the grotesque things.
Yes, picture those with white ice skates on their feet and
Yeah.
like
I'm also
figure
imagining
skating
white.
outfits coming out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was imagining. Just that right
I
there.
mean, I think that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Doing
Do they
triple
actually-
axle jumps.
Yes, exactly. Doing all kinds of crazy like jumps and tricks and whatever.
And we were born to make history.
Now that's gonna be stuck in my head forever. Does Sigourney Weaver turn into one of them, or am I imagining that?
No, that happens.
Okay, good. I was
Been
like,
a
is this
while.
another from memory kind of thing where
No,
I'm
that's
just like
that
completely
totally.
off?
You remembered that
Okay,
correctly.
cool.
Okay, and Jensen, what is your game?
Okay, so I know I already cited the pea dreams. My pea dreams are wild, dude. I always still pee. There was one where I literally there was a homeless man in the stall with me, which was literally just an alleyway, and he was staring at me eating a sandwich, and I still went
You were just
in the
like,
dream.
"Dream."
I
Like,
was
look,
like,
man,
whatever.
this isn't gonna stop me
I have
from
to do this now.
getting this done.
Those are the
But-
worst dreams. I hate them.
Pea dreams are terrible. But that's not actually what I had planned for my game. I actually had a dream once where I was a child at a carnival when the zombie apocalypse broke out. And then I was trying to find my parents and my siblings, and it was really scary. And it was crazy because the zombies were all just like coming at us, and people were slowly getting bitten and standing up and turning. It was like a really fast turn process. Like people were just zombies like instantly. And I was just this little kid, like I think I was like 7 years old or something, like really little kid, just like trying to figure my way through the zombie apocalypse. So that
Aw.
child in the zombie apocalypse
At a carnival.
at a carnival.
Love it.
Yeah.
Zombie clowns.
Oh yeah, zombie clowns were a thing in that dream.
Ugh.
Please stop.
I think when the bite
I
happens
just
really
listened to
fast-
the episode about John Wayne Gacy. I cannot do this
Yeah.
today. No, thank you. Okay, bye.
The thing about the bite happening quickly is there's something like really sad about the whole no time to say goodbye thing.
Yeah.
You
There
know?
was no time. It was like in World War Z,
Mhm.
how it was like just really fast change,
Yeah.
but not as lame overall.
The book is so good.
I know. The movie was okay, but you
completely
know,
I
different from
love
the
the
film.
movie.
yeah.
It's terrifying.
I just didn't like. There was something about the zombie thing that just kind of irked me. I'm not sure.
I'm just
totally sure what
annoyed
it
they
is.
called it World War Z. It had nothing to do with that book, and that book's really good.
Okay, we can't get into this.
Okay, Lane.
So I don't have nightmares very often anymore. The nightmares that I do have are incredibly boring and just specifically nightmares because it's my life and not your life. Like if you had that dream, then you'd be like, what the heck? It's fine. You're just talking to some people. It's a nightmare for me. But I do think that if I were to make a game, it would be like PT, because I did have an idea for a horror game where it's just like there are certain things that are just kind of off, like some objects have two shadows, or some objects, like I wanted to try an experiment with, would you feel uneasy if like there are there are things that your brain recognizes just subconsciously, so you might not exactly know why you feel uneasy, but you are uneasy because your brain like subconsciously knows that that's not right. Like the light is coming from this direction, the shadow should be over there, but it's not. It's over here, and there's two of them. And I was thinking maybe combine that with one of those famous dreams where you're like in the house and there's suddenly a room that you never recognize, like it's just there. And while I was thinking about it, I thought that maybe even, because I did have one dream where, I'm sorry, I'm waffling a ton, but I did have one dream where the house was on fire and I was trying to get Mom's attention and she like didn't recognize that I was there or anything. Like, she couldn't tell that I was there, and it felt like I was in another dimension. So, like, maybe you're stuck in a nightmare dimension in your house, and that there are these weird things that are kind of slightly off at first, and then they can get increasingly weirder, and you're, like, finding new rooms, and all the people in your house, like, don't recognize you, and then they become hostile. That's my dream.
That sounds really scary.
Yeah, it just sounds scary. I just wanted to point out really fast, though.
What?
Double Shadows is Doctor Who, the Silence in the Library one.
I know.
And, is it called Silence in the Library? Something like that.
It's
Something
not Silence in the Library.
Something in the library.
It's the Vashta one.
Yeah. And then the room in your house that you've never seen before, but
Also,
it's there. Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. I know, I'm
Amy
taking
Pond.
a lot from Doctor Who, but come on, they inspired a lot of my nightmares.
I know, I'm not saying, like, oh, you're ripping them off. I'm just, like, I just wanted to point it out because I really liked both of those episodes.
Yeah, no, those are great. Like, there's nothing like the subtle horror of suddenly there's just a room in your house that you've never noticed.
I love
It's
when he
just
points
there.
out that she doesn't want to look at it.
Yeah.
She just doesn't want to
She
look at it.
doesn't see
I
it.
love it.
That was cool.
We're gonna break away from video games for a second. Well, actually, for the next, like, 2 questions. Tell me a scary story. Have you guys ever seen any ghosts?
I have not, thank goodness, because I would die. But Zach and James have. Specifically, quite a few in James's backyard, like shadow people, and even at one point a shadow wolf. Which is pretty spooky. They thought it was James's dog, so they called it over, and when it came up, they're like, that's not the dog.
That's not our dog.
That is a shadow.
I mean, I'd still be like, good boy!
James's backyard at one point was haunted AF, and I hated going back there. Because sometimes they would force me to at night, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why do you suck so bad?
And it was pretty typical to just see, like, actual full-body figures.
Yeah.
Just in the backyard.
Yeah, for
Ew.
those guys. Zach did live in a haunted house on his mission, and it was like one of those stereotypical, like, away from everything, house on a hill, like, kind of old, kind of big, and heard footsteps at night, and there
Look,
was a
that's the
creepy
worst.
piano in the basement that every once in a while they could just hear kind of
See,
playing dissonant harmonies.
that's the worst because I
That
don't
sucks.
feel like you can easily call up your mission president and be like, yo, the house we live in is haunted. We gotta move.
He'd
Like-
probably be like, well, have you tried performing an exorcism?
Like, I don't want to do that. Have you watched
Be like,
the
Did you
Right.
see The Exorcist?
Did you see The
Did you see
Exorcist?
what happened to the priest?
we always talk about Britt's house because I think it's the only place we've been where, like, we all
It's
kind
like-
of agree there's something weird about it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's freaky.
And, like, I'm not
Even
gonna...
now, even though it's pretty quiet now, it's still pretty freaky. There's like weird feelings in there.
Oh, I haven't noticed anything really there in
It's
a couple
not
of
better
years.
spot.
I do hear stuff at night sometimes, but...
Okay, I'm just gonna jump the gun and do my thing. I've never really seen anything. I've never had like a real like significant experience, but being in their house, I have just like a feeling like I'm not alone there. And it's not necessarily hostile, but
I
it
don't
is
think
kind
it's
of eerie.
malicious.
It's kind of like even when it's just me and Lily, I feel like there are other people there, and it kind of freaks me out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I would say that's probably a good assessment of it. Like when you guys went to the store and I was just sitting alone with Lily on the couch watching TV for like 40 minutes.
yeah,
I could hear stuff
Yeah.
going on in the other rooms, and it's not anything like malevolent. It's just like the general sense that you get when you're in a house and there's other people there and you can tell that they're doing something in another
Yeah.
room. It's just that, except it's in a situation where I am definitely alone.
yeah,
And it's like, okay, I'm hearing footsteps upstairs in the nursery. I know there's nobody in there.
yeah.
And I just don't worry about it anymore
Yeah.
because I'm so used to it at
Yeah.
that particular house.
If there is a ghost residing there, we're good with it now.
I kind of think that when Britt just like laid down the law and was like, "You can be here, but you can't you can't interfere with my life," that I don't know, it somehow made them like cohabit, you know?
Yeah, like if
Yeah.
you could
'Cause-
just be a nice roommate, that would be great.
Ever since she did that, it's been pretty chill. It's just like you just have the creepy feeling that like you're never alone in that house, but you don't have all of the like, you know, cupboards opening and like the
Yeah.
dogs freaking out at stuff
And my
mist
clock
and like
always
freaking
resetting itself
stuff.
every time I came to that house.
Yeah.
That was so obnoxious.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep an alarm in that house
Yeah.
because it would like reset every single time.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And like the one time that you could hear Lily walking around in the kitchen, but you could also feel Lily licking your foot.
Yeah,
I know,
She
which
was-
that's just like a creepypasta.
Yeah.
But like that happened
No,
to me.
that actually
And I
happened. I
remember-
was there. It was happening to me
Yeah.
I
and
remember-
Jensen.
I could
remember
feel
feeling-
Lily sitting on my leg. At the time, I could hear her out in the kitchen, and she was licking your
Yeah.
foot. Apparently,
Yeah,
I'm
she
like,
could. She was
we
like,
didn't even talk about it till the morning after. We were like
Yeah.
talking, and we were just like, "Did you hear that?" And we were like,
did you
Yeah.
hear the dog nails clicking
Yeah,
in the
I did.
kitchen? But you could feel Lily sitting on the bed.
she was licking my foot, and then yeah, in the kitchen you could hear dog nails clicking. You could hear her drinking from her bowl. So basically, the dog's in two places is what it feels
But
like.
we don't know which one was the real dog.
I'm
gosh.
gonna say it was not the one licking my foot.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I think
I swear, I know every time I tell that too, people always be like, "Oh, you're making that up. That's just the scary story about the guy who's like humans can lick too." Screw you, people.
No.
Okay, I lived it. I was so scared out of my mind, but I managed to fall asleep. I want to see you do that.
also I know what Lily's tongue feels like.
Yeah. I know
She's
what a
licking you
human tongue-
constantly.
I know what a
It's
human
how she
tongue
shows affection.
feels like as opposed to a dog's tongue.
Yeah.
I'm not an idiot.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, there's Brit's house, and that was kind of the main thing that we've all shared.
I don't know when Zach's gonna be home, so I have to go to bed by myself.
Oh,
Sorry.
It's okay.
Can I have a bite before I tell my ghost story? Wait, what is my... Oh, yeah, I remember my ghost story.
We all need to sleep.
It is really warm.
Ooh, what's
That's
your...
because it was in my pocket for like 3 hours.
Lainey, what's your ghost story?
So, I don't know, man. It's weird. 1 second, why don't you? Kind of have to pee right now, so hopefully I don't get too scared.
Oh my gosh.
So, one night, this was years ago. One night, I was getting ready to go to bed, and I was getting into bed, like I turned off my light, I'm getting into bed, and as I'm getting in...
Were you getting into bed?
Yeah, I was getting in. And at this point, Mom and Dad are asleep, Elsa's downstairs, Jensen is actually still in her room playing video games, lights on.
As usual.
As usual. Jensen stays up till like 3 a.m. playing games every night. And as I'm getting in, I look over through the hall, and in the hallway, I have a good view of our parents' doorway. And the door is slightly open, just a little bit. And then I see this person sort of peek through, like open the door slightly and look at me through the hallway. And at first I just think it's Dad, because he stays up late too, and that he's checking on me, because this person is incredibly tall. I can tell immediately.
And when he takes Ambien, he gets really concerned that we're all okay and checks on us constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a strange person on Ambien.
Ambien Dad is a weird name.
Ambien Dad is a lot more free with his feelings and his thoughts. I sit up a little bit, and I'm just like, Dad, what's up? Are you okay? And it doesn't move and doesn't say anything. And as I'm looking closer, I noticed that it does not have a face.
No.
And is not your father.
It is not my father. Like, I'm like, that's weird. Dad usually has a face.
Even when he's on Ambien.
Even when he's on Ambien. I'm like, huh? And I was just like, okay. Like, I think I said something dumb out loud, like, okay.
It was probably one of those nights where I thought you were just talking in your sleep, because you talk in your sleep sometimes.
I do that a lot. I shout in my sleep too.
No.
I said, okay. And I just laid back down, and I covered myself with my sheet, and I closed my eyes, and I tried really hard to go to sleep, and I fell asleep. But what was really weird about that experience was that a couple days later, Elsa told us that she had a sleep paralysis episode where a tall man with no face came into her room.
Oh, no, he had a face.
Oh, okay, well, maybe.
No, he was
The
your
tall man.
Was your tall man like 7.5 feet tall?
He was tall.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell exactly. He was
Taller than your husband, Darren.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was how I knew it wasn't Dad, because I looked at this person, And then I was like, oh, he's too tall to be dad. And then I was like, frick, he's too tall to be dad.
Yeah.
She's like, our father is not a small man.
Yeah.
No.
And I sat up in bed, and it was a sleep paralysis episode. This is the thing, is I've had some that I do think are legitimate sleep paralysis episodes, and then I've had some like this where I was like, is it sleep paralysis if I'm moving around?
No.
And
That
so
could
like
be
I was
hypnagogia.
so I was
Yeah.
sitting up,
Yeah.
and so I was sitting straight up in bed, and I'm definitely awake at this point, and I'm like halfway through asking, Dad is like
No.
that kind of like I was like, that's not Dad. And all of a sudden the face, because it did have a face,
It did.
he's like just sort of glaring at me, just kind of in like a set angry glare.
Yeah.
So scared.
And then all of a sudden the expression changes from anger to like shock. And
Because you could see it.
yeah, that's kind of how it felt.
Yeah.
And I was just staring at him, and like we're just kind of doing this face-to-face staring for a second, and he goes from like looking at me with this steady sort of angry look to just total surprise. And then as I was climbing out of bed, the image just like faded into nothing. So yeah, I mean, hypnagogia, maybe. I've never heard of that happening when you are like up and standing around.
Yeah, that never happened to me.
Though I'm
I-
pretty sure Uncle Dan has had one where
Maybe.
he started moving and the image of Dracula or Nosferatu was
Like-
still coming at
It
him.
was
Heck
still
yes.
coming.
Yeah,
towards
I
him.
feel like you told me a story of
Yeah.
Nosferatu coming at him as he was sitting up.
Yeah, our
It was
uncle,
like-
our uncle's sleep paralysis demons are always classical movie monsters.
Yes, always.
Which, like, sign me up. Why do I get the weird breathing on my neck and I can't see anything? But
I have no
yeah.
sleep problems. Woo, knock on
Yeah,
wood.
it's great.
Jensen just doesn't sleep. She's fine.
I'm too good at
But yeah,
sleep.
I couldn't really tell.
He said I'm good at sleep.
I'm
I
too
couldn't
good.
make out a face. I could tell that they were tall. I couldn't really make out exactly what height they were because they were leaning, like they were hunching over and looking through a doorway. Oh my gosh, I have
I'm
to
not
go
gonna be able to
sleep
sleep tonight, you
tonight.
guys. Jinx.
Slumber party.
Well, that was fun. Getting on to subjects away from all of the creepy things.
Or
Aaron.
Or not for mine.
Yeah, or not from a few other
And
people.
Aaron's.
And
Okay.
mine.
Okay, maybe all of
Yeah, not
ours.
mine either.
Okay. So what not video game thing are you obsessed with right now, Aaron?
So Zach and I just finished The Haunting of Hill House. And it was really fantastic and super spooky, and holy crap, it scared the crap out of me. And I still have trouble going to sleep, even with Zach in the other room. Like,
Speaking of sleep paralysis.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, terrifying. And the tall man, oh my gosh, that is so scary. Speaking of which, Zach has seen a tall man ghost thing. Sorry, everyone.
This is why we made jokes about Zach's horrible experiences all morning, because Zach is also the person who's like seen the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make more of those.
I always wonder like what qualifies as a tall man to Zach though.
Yeah.
Because I would guess that my tall man I saw was about 7.5 feet tall just by judging where the top of his head was versus the door frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be tall for Zach. I feel like the one Zach saw was like 10 feet or something.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
no.
like
That is too
Tall for Zach is
Horrifying.
really tall.
You know what that reminds
It's
me
like a
of?
giant, like a Harry Potter giant.
There was like this old game I remember watching Chantel play, and I can't remember what it was, but in it it was like Chinese or something, and you were fighting these zombies, and they were all incredibly tall.
No.
Like they were all like 10 feet tall.
Oh my gosh, no.
They're creepy as heck.
Mm-mm. I don't know what that is.
Ugh, I still have nightmares about that.
It's not Tenshu.
No, because it was like a top-down thing too. Even
Oh.
it managed to be terrifying, even though it was top-down.
Ooh, I don't know what that is.
Mm.
Yikes.
That's spooky. But
Maybe
yeah.
I made it up with my weird child brain,
Maybe.
which is even scarier.
But yeah, really well done. It's the kind of ghost movies that I like, because it wasn't like satanic or possession or anything like that. It was just a good old-fashioned mysterious haunting, which was, I loved it.
Yeah, it's a drama, like
Yeah.
a proper family drama with some ghosts.
Yeah, with some ghosts. They'd be there.
Lots
Nice.
of ghosts in the background. We watched that video,
Oh yeah.
and I thought I caught a good amount because I was looking for them, but oh my gosh, there are so many more than I could have imagined, and
Yeah.
it's freaky.
So many ghosts.
Super cool. Also, I read the Batman Court of Owls saga comic,
Oh, nice.
which was really good. I wish it had been longer. Like, I would have loved more of a slow burn, like getting into the action. But yeah, overall, really well done, really pretty art, and I want to read more comic books now because they're fun. Yeah.
So my thing I'm obsessed with right now, I finished writing a book yesterday, and that's kind of,
Nice.
I've been really focused on trying to finish this one. It's like the 5th draft of a book that I have been trying to properly write since I was like 17,
Mhm.
and each draft just keeps being like not quite what I want.
Mm.
I'm pretty happy with this one. I feel like this might be it
Woo.
finally. Like it feels solid. It feels like what I wanted it to be. And so I've started outlining a sequel to it.
Nice.
And I'm going to do that for NaNoWriMo, I think, because I've already got a pretty good idea of what I want it to be like. And I don't know, it feels good to occasionally get caught up in my own work. I feel like I read a lot and I watch a lot of movies and I play a lot of games, and I'm always sort of absorbing and enjoying like fiction. And so I'd kind of forgotten, it's been a few years, I think, since I've gotten really caught up in like my own sort of work.
Mhm.
And this was good. This was a good little obsessive month for me and my book. So I'm excited about that.
Nice.
I am once again obsessed with My Favorite Murder. I'm listening to the entire thing again for I think the 4th time, and it's really fun. I think I'm in like the early 40s episodes. Just listened to the John Wayne Gacy one and then told Lainey to listen to it. And
It was infuriating.
yeah, it's infuriating
How the
because
heck?
how
How the heck?
did he manage
How
to
the
get away with it?
First off,
for
how
so
did he
long?
manage
And,
to get married twice?
Yeah.
Like,
That's the thing.
there are awesome people out there who don't get married at all.
How are all of these serial
Who,
killers
like,
getting
want to,
married?
too.
They're serial killers.
Also,
Charismatic.
I'm
so annoying.
Can I just say how angry I am that they charged him with sodomy instead of child molestation?
Yeah.
And that's how he got out in 18 months. Why
Yeah.
are we doing this? Who wants to protect the child molesters? Who's
Seriously.
doing that?
I
Okay.
don't know.
I'm
it's
sorry.
insane.
Yeah, not okay.
Yeah.
So, as a segue to my section, I'm also obsessed with My Favorite Murder right now.
I wasn't.
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say that I really like it. I don't know. There was more I wanted to say, but I can't
We
remember
know.
now. I don't know. It's a really, really, really good
I'm
podcast.
sorry.
It's okay. You're editing, Jensen, so you could always record something later and be like, editing Jensen here. This is what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I wanted to say the lady's a big poop face.
I approve, actually. Well, I am currently kind of obsessed with My Favorite Murder. Just spooky things right now is sort of what I'm going for. But I'm also enjoying listening to the Adventure Zone podcast from the McElroy brothers and Father. And it's some quality content. And so is My Favorite Murder. So having a good time.
It's a really good time, and it's really fun to listen to it at work,
Mm-hmm.
and then to talk about serial killers
In front of a bunch
in
of people.
front of people at work.
We're like complaining about how they handled John Wayne Gacy, like in front of everyone
Yeah.
at work. Ugh,
I really hope you guys don't get fired.
I know.
I think we'll be fine. We're good workers. We
We're
just
doing
talk and laugh a
stuff.
lot. We do lots of stuff. We get tons done.
Yeah.
So, what are you looking forward to playing next?
Oh, sorry, really quick. Speaking of serial killers, we just started watching a show called Prodigal Son.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
My
You
favorite
guys-
murder
Michael
did a
Sheen,
special
right?
episode on that
Oh,
one.
really?
Yeah, and they
Or sorry,
interviewed
Michael
one
Shannon?
of the
Michael
Sheen.
actors.
Yeah, it is Sheen.
Yeah, Michael Sheen is the dad. He's a serial killer, and his son
Ah.
becomes
I know this.
a profiler for the FBI, and
Yeah.
it is so good, and I love it.
It looks
It's
fun.
great.
I was
Yeah.
meaning to check that one out.
It's really
Yeah.
fun. Yeah. Anyway. So Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order comes out November 15th, and it looks so legit, you guys.
Mhm.
Like you're an actual super cool Jedi, and it looks amazing, and I just can't wait.
I am a little disappointed that I don't get to be a Twi'lek.
A Twi'lek?
Yeah, an alien.
Yeah,
Star
the
Wars
weird
alien.
ones with the head
ones with the head
things.
things.
I
I
just
just
disappointing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to be a Twi'lek.
Yeah.
I get
that'd
it.
be
I
fun
heard they
to
were
be
doing
an
another
alien.
Star Wars game, and I was like, "Ooh, can I choose from all the weird alien races?" It's like, no, you get to be a white guy.
Star Wars RPG.
Why?
We
why?
need a Star Wars
why?
RPG.
Why
seriously.
they do that?
I know.
If you give us all these cool options for like things other than human, and then they're like, nah, you gotta be a white dude with a buzz cut. Like, what the heck? Who wants to be the white dude with a buzz cut? No offense to the white dude with the buzz cut. He's got a life and it's valid. But like, I don't want
I wanted
that.
to be a Twi'lek.
Yeah.
Let me know how it is when you play it.
I will.
Because I don't have enough money to pre-order it, so I'm not going to get it until it's been out for a while.
Yeah.
But it looks fun.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Can even come over and play it if you guys
Ooh,
want.
we actually should do that. We should do that.
Yeah.
Party! Star Wars party!
Star Wars party.
Yes. Elsa, what about you?
I want Death Stranding.
Yes.
I want it now.
Yes. It comes out in 2 weeks.
Dude, what if it got
I
pushed
know.
back to May?
Oh.
Speaking of which, Last of Us Part 2 just got pushed back to May, and we found out today. So
That is
gosh,
depressing.
That's very depressing.
I still haven't played the
depressing.
first one, and I wasn't going to pre-order the second one, but it worries me.
Like-
because I do have a lot of... I don't know. I want the second game to do really, really well. I
My-
want it to be amazing, you know? Even though I haven't played the
Same.
first one. I
I'm
still
a-
want it to be good.
I'm in the
And
same
I'm
place,
worried.
but my heart goes out to the majority of the gaming community that just absolutely loved The Last of Us because, like, yeah, it was a good game. And I'm sorry, guys, but maybe they're just taking a little extra time to make sure it's good.
Let's hope that's the thing. That's the case.
That's what I like to think when a game
Whenever
gets pushed
games-
back.
Mm.
And you should understand because these are wise words from a person whose favorite series is Dragon Age. And Dragon Age 4, where are you? Hello.
Information about Dragon Age 4, where are you?
There's some, we
Yeah.
get little snippets
Just little
every
bits.
so often.
I am looking forward to playing Outer Worlds, which actually is coming out tonight. It's already out. It's been out for like a couple hours now. And I chose to not pick it up at the 9:00 release so that I could record this podcast. So,
It's okay. You wouldn't have had time to play it tonight anyway, and you have work tomorrow, and I'll pick it up while you're gone. They'll
I
be
know.
waiting for you when you go home.
I'm really excited to play it.
Yay.
I can't wait to make my character. But it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Lainey, is the game you're looking forward to Dragon Age 4?
It's Dragon Age 4. Yeah. So right now I'm pretty excited to keep playing Greedfall. Like I'm excited to see where the story goes, and I have a lot of questions that I'm happy because I feel like they are going to get answered. Sometimes I'm worried about that when it comes to a new game and a company that I'm not familiar with, but I do feel like Spiders is going to handle this one pretty well. Besides that, I have finally decided I'm gonna do it, guys. I'm gonna get a platinum.
Yes.
Jensen, because I don't do anything ever. Jensen was looking at my achievements and she found that Dragon Age 2, I only have like
It's like 5 achievements
Five
left, and one of
achievements
them's the
left?
platinum. I think.
And Dragon Age 2 is actually not very hard to platinum. The hardest achievement that I have
Trophy.
left. The hardest achievement that I have
Trophy.
left is not getting knocked out for the first year that you play. But as long as I play on casual, I think I should be able to get that pretty easily and just make sure to save a lot and reload if I do end up falling in combat, which I do think is going to be unlikely. So, and then next up, I just get to be the biggest bastard that ever bastarded. So,
Side with the Templars.
side with the Templars
It's a trophy.
and become the Viscount
Oh
of
boy.
Kirkwall.
Trophy, not achievement.
Hey,
You're playing it on PlayStation.
And guys, this is fresh on the heels of our boy David Jackson from PlayStation
Yes.
Access Platinum.
Woo!
Yeah.
His first platinum.
Horizon
So-
Zero Dawn.
Oh, yeah.
So proud of him.
Proud.
He's grown up so much.
That's
That was
a
the
good
first one I
platinum,
platinum too.
too.
Yeah, that was the first one I got,
Yeah.
and now I have 9.
I definitely feel like because Dave finally got a platinum, I need to get one
Mhm.
because Dave can't.
Dave got a platinum before you,
I
lady.
can't live in a universe where Dave has a platinum and I don't. It like actually makes me uncomfortable thinking about it.
You know, this actually also addresses a thing that I've been meaning to say for so long. Way back in was it episode 9? Was it when you said you finished Edith Finch and you platinumed it?
I'm so angry.
No, you did not, because
There's
there is
no
no
platinum.
platinum trophy, and I've been meaning to say that for
I
so long and keep forgetting.
100%ed it.
That's so-
Excuse me.
That's so upsetting because even my name is mayonnaise, where you literally just tap on a jar of mayonnaise that puts on different outfits for however many hours.
What?
You can platinum that game,
Yeah.
but you can't
It
platinum.
has
Oh,
to do with the
mayonnaise.
number of trophies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's dumb.
You can't even platinum a piece of art such as Edith Finch.
Yeah,
It has
it's
to do with the
dumb.
number of trophies.
Screw that.
It doesn't have the minimum amount.
You know what I say
Neither
to
does
that?
Batman VR. I found that out, and then I was immediately like,
Aw.
I am less invested in getting all of these
You
trophies.
know what I say to that?
I have 2 left.
The
Still have
freaking,
2
the
left.
freaking person who decided that would be a thing probably can't even count high enough to the number that is required for a platinum trophy. So screw you, man.
Should we end this before Eleni continues to insult?
I'm gonna keep insulting you.
I checked out like 10 minutes ago.
It's over 2 hours.
Yeah, this is a
Only half
long ass
present.
podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna need to cut some stuff.
Well, this has been Long Ass Podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Just kidding. This is
Podcast.
Princess in Another Podcast, just in case there is already a podcast called Long Ass Podcast.
I'm gonna look
because
it up.
there probably is.
That'd be
And if
amazing.
not, we should make another one.
And
because that's a
we
good
actually
name.
already have an
Yes.
idea for another
Oh yeah,
podcast.
Lainey and I already have a
called,
plan.
Video Who, and because it's based off of Video Killed the Radio Star, but like radio's back in because podcasts, and it's just a podcast rating other podcasts.
Yeah. It's just, we just listen to random podcasts and then talk about them. We want to do
Nice.
this.
Yes.
That's
We can do
awesome.
this.
Video Who?
They actually-
Who is she?
in
We
the-
don't know her.
The episode
am.
of My Favorite Murder I was listening to today at work, they actually started out saying that they should make a podcast about podcasts.
Yes.
And they were like, we shouldn't. That would run us out of business or
No, it
something. It
wouldn't.
was a whole big crazy
Dude,
thing.
no,
And then
it
they got
wouldn't.
into like a podcast about podcasting podcasts or something. It's like, what is happening?
Well,
Also, there is no long ass podcast.
We need
Not
it.
and not on Stitcher at least.
Copyright. Let's take it.
Not that I can see.
despite how long this podcast has been, unfortunately, your princess is not in this podcast. Maybe she'll be in the next one. Who knows? Stick around.
Maybe she'll be in the Long Ass Podcast.